Hi guys, Dr. Crocker here, Dr. Crocker Pet Vet. It is almost 8 o'clock and I wanted to come on. I'm very excited about my guest. I am excited to have a veterinary oncologist on with me today. And so I hope you guys will join me. I think it's going to be very cool that the match is actually tomorrow. And so it's going to be interesting to talk about the match right around the corner. I know everyone is anticipating that. Hi! Oh,
Hi.
let me fix I never know where it's going to cut my head off at. So,
I know.
what's happening? How are you?
I'm good. I just was like finishing up stuff, and I was like, oh man, I gotta like put myself together because
Yeah, I actually worked out and then I changed my shirt real quick and I put my glasses on to hide. Yeah, so you're good. You're good. Don't worry about it. You look fabulous. You look great. So
I haven't put makeup on in like a year, so I was like,
I know my standards have slowly declined. I will be real honest.
I know. I feel the same.
Okay, so introduce yourself to everybody, and then I have some really good questions. I think this is an interesting specialty. So, and I have a visitor. Hold on.
Okay.
Mom,
Yes.
Mom, I made my create and can come see it now.
I will come see it later. I love you.
No, now.
Go.
When are you gonna come see it?
I'll come see you in a couple of minutes. Go tell Dad to see it. Close the door. Thanks. Sorry.
Nope. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
Mom, can take a picture of it and
Not with no later. Go tell Dad. Go. I might have to lock the door. We'll see. I've been impressed. I haven't been interrupted that much actually on these. So I appreciate you sticking with me. Okay, so introduce yourself, and then we're gonna get into like where you work and everything. But introduce yourself and your specialty, and then I got some good questions for you.
So I'm Stacy Santoro Binstock. I'm a veterinary oncologist, medical oncology. So in case people don't know, that's like the medicine part of it, chemo and that sort of thing. I've been doing this a long time. I'm from New Jersey originally, and I ended up all over the Midwest for pretty much all my vet school training. And then I've been up and down like the East Coast seaboard. And again, I've been doing this like almost 15 years. Not even counting my residency. So it's been a while, you know.
Well, so tomorrow is match day. And I was like, it's fun to talk to specialists because I've learned so much about like the processes and matching and not and what you do. But the anxiety that a lot of people have tonight because of match day is probably through the roof, right?
Yeah, you know, and it just seems like over the years, it's actually gotten even more competitive. So, I mean, I feel for people, and that experience really, it's kind of a strange experience because, like, you know, you sit down at the computer and you're like, press,
yes,
like, am I going to match? Am I not match? Where did I match? And you know, you only get one choice, so it's not, if you don't like it, you can't like not go. You have to go. So yeah, it's a hard experience, and there's so many like people that are so disappointed, you know, and people that have like ridden that pony 3 or 4 times trying to match with me, and you know, it's got to be hard. So
the closest thing I can think of is with the Navly, we got our results electronically, and I remember everyone that morning like looking, and then everyone's kind of like looking around because you want it. Like, and you don't want to be too excited if your friends didn't pass, but then you are excited or you're not, and it was a very awkward moment,
I still remember like where I was sitting. I was in my internship, like, where the computer was, and then like looking at the screen, and it was like, huh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're like, I guess that's the next 3 years of my life. And
my first choice, but and I always tell people that, like, even with vet school, like I didn't because I'm from New Jersey, like we don't have a school, so it took me 2 years to get in, and even at that, like I got it by the skin of my teeth. Like, I got waitlisted, and like I got it like this, so it's, it's an experience. And the same thing like with match day, like waiting to see it. It's just hard, it's hard, like emotional.
Well, you remember those emotions, but if anything, it's like there will be so much more to
Oh,
come. And so those
that's
things get less, yeah, like less important over time. But
yeah.
I definitely feel for all the students. So what I normally do is kind of start actually pre-vet, and we talk a little bit about like what you prepared for vet
Yeah.
school, and if it took you 2 times to get in, what you did between those 2 times. So talk to me a little bit about, you wanted to be a vet,
Yeah.
undergrad, what you did.
I don't even know why I wanted to be a vet. I never worked at a hospital. I just love dogs. And I was like, yeah, I want to be a vet maybe. So I went to college in New Jersey, and the school I went to was like a science-based college, and they had an animal science major. So originally I was a nutrition major.
Okay.
In like my second year, I was like, well, like I should probably try to be like animal science and try to get in, see if I could get into vet school. But it was so intimidating, like the curriculum, and, biology is fine, but like chemistry, biochemistry, calculus, physics. I was like, oof, like, I don't know if I can do it. So yeah. I committed, and then, applying for vet school, I applied to every within the United States. I think it's like 27, I think 27. Didn't get in anywhere. I got waitlisted, I think, at 2 schools.
Right.
And I think it's a little harder, like coming from a state that school. It was a challenge. So in between college and then not getting in, I worked for Steering Plow pharmaceutical company, doing research. And it was, it was a good experience. It was boring. I was like, I don't want to do this forever. Like, it's just,
yeah.
It just wasn't that exciting. And then the second year, I got at 2 schools, and I got in to Iowa, which, same thing. Like when I got to vet school, I was like, again, I'm from New Jersey. Like, we don't know the central United.
You're like, what is this Iowa place? Yeah.
Okay, someone get the map. Where's
that? Yeah, where is it?
Like, oh God, like that's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm from a very small town in New Jersey, so I actually liked it there. And all the summers that I was in vet school, I went back and worked for pharmaceutical companies. So I worked for between first and second year, and then second and third year, both different jobs. I worked for Merck, so which was a great experience. I think people, like vet students, don't even know about it. And they have really good like opportunities. Like the second job that I actually worked at a farm that Merck. So I worked on sheep and chickens and horses, and it was I really liked it. It was fun. I learned all kinds of stuff, and they pay great. But if you're not in that world, like I don't think other people would have known. So
no.
A lot of like different experiences,
I think that's one of the best things you can do, though, is experience different animals and be around different things and experience different parts of the industry, because there is so many opportunities, with our degree, and those connections can really help you out, even with like pharmaceutical companies, like understanding how they work and who they are.
Where I worked, one of the summers I worked in like the lab animal medicine department. So monkeys and dogs, and working with monkeys, like it was just really interesting for me. Like I've never seen a monkey since, except at the zoo. So it was just really cool. And like I said, the second summer I did all the farm animals, and I just got a kick out of it. I like drug development and all that, that's just too much basic research for me. I really like that, but it was a great experience.
With the animals. Yeah. Are you, okay, so you get into vet school, it takes you 2 times, you get in. When do you get hit with the like, oncology is my calling wand?
It was weird. Like so Iowa at the time, my hair was on my face, they didn't even have an oncologist. So
my gosh.
that came in, like, I think when we were in third year, things are different now, but like when we were in third year is when we started like all our medicine lectures, like this very traditional didactic course. And we had just come in and lecture us. And it just was like really interesting to me. It really kind of like piqued my interest. And then, you know, when I got into the clinic, I really liked that special, because again, I had no experience in like private general practice and achiever. So I was immediately like, okay, I think I want to be a specialist.
Right.
My first patient, because they had you know, the medicine department did the chemo. My first patient as a fourth year was a dog that had osteo that had been amputated that had like a chemo side effect. So, you know, from there I was kind of just hooked, I guess. Like it was just like fell into my lap. And, you know, age is an experience is a different thing. Like it's obviously changed my viewpoint on my specialty over the years compared to what it was like to be like young and green and inexperienced. And you know,
did you like go and work at a like oncology specialty hospital, or did you just kind of through your medical cases you were like, this is really interesting to me?
Yeah, I mean, we saw some at Iowa, but I actually spent a month at Colorado doing oncology there. So I think 2 weeks, 2 separate times time there. You know, they have like such a great, accomplished, like well-known oncology department. So I really got there, and it just kind of like solidified my, you know, my calling, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So did you, after you, it's been interesting to me. All the specialties are a little different, and majority of them, people do small animal rotating internships. They don't go straight into like a specialty internship.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's changed or not, or what you know kind of about oncology like now versus then, but did you like realize this is competitive and I need to like hustle to get an internship, or was it kind of not as competitive then? Because
I mean, obviously I think it was a little bit different, but back then, now sometimes you have to do a general rotating internship.
Yeah.
A specialty internship, I feel like, is more for people match that want to make themselves more marketable. So at the time, like through my rotating internship, I matched directly in residency. So I think like, and back then there weren't as many of these like specialty internships.
Right.
Match what people did. But I do think, again, the playing field has changed. I'm sure it's a lot of days. Like, I probably never get a residency now. You know, I don't think I even, like, I thought about it, but it's so far back in my memory. Like, I thought about it being competitive and things, but I don't know. I just, you know, and I didn't really have a feeling. Like, what was I going to do if I didn't match? I don't know.
Yeah.
I was going to do a special internship. I wasn't planning on it.
Right. I feel like and this is probably going to make like New Jersey people mad, but I get a lot of New Jersey people in Texas. I feel like you're very laid back for somebody from New Jersey. Like, like a lot of my New Jersey clients are like, they seem a little more intense, and you're like, I loved it. Like, it's what I wanted to do. I just went for it, and like it's kind of like a little like go with the flow, which I totally appreciate, but I don't get that from New Jersey a lot, at least in my experience. So
like some of that has been beaten out of me. And again, I spent, for I think 7 years in the Midwest. So that definitely, and I think it was a great experience, like really learning to see how other people like live their life, because it's really different out there. And kind of like, I really like it. And I met some of like the absolute best, most influential people of my life out there. So I really respect it. And I think like in my personal life, I feel like I'm way more high strung, but when anything, like whenever it comes to anything work related, I'm just like, I feel pretty confident about it, you know? So I don't up about it, you know?
Well, you made the right decision for you, it sounds like, which is great. And you like knew it was going to be the end result. So it was like, it's going to happen, and I just kind of need to let it happen. Your internship, was your internship intense? Was it in a private practice or was it in academia?
Yeah, it was at a very large private practice. It's even bigger now. It was hard. Like we worked so hard, you know, just, and I think it's still like that, but I mean, the hours we worked, it was like they say, trying to get a drink from like a fire hose.
Yes, yes.
And you're just like, you have no choice but to learn. Like, and you have to, like, again, back then, because I graduated back too, but I feel like there was plenty of time, like we were on overnights by ourselves, so like we had to figure it out sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
As scary as that is, like you really do learn that way by like trial and error and making mistakes. So yeah, it was a rough year. It was really hard. Like so tired and beat down and working all the time and no off, and but I survived. So, and I learned a lot. We had an
Right.
oncologist. We had everything we needed. I learned a lot, and I never wanted to do an academic. That's not my style. I never wanted to work in academia. But I'm very private practice oriented. I hate rules and bureaucracy and
that's the New Jersey side of you coming out. Like that's where it is.
Environment. Like even in vet school, I remember like all I want to do is get these x-rays on this dog, but radiology has a meeting between 8 and 8. Don't do anything. And I was like, I can't deal with this. Like, I work well within those confines. Like, I want to do it when I want to do it. I don't like waiting for people. So, for me, I didn't even apply to any
academic ones.
Maybe I did, but I certainly don't think I wanted to go, do those. It just doesn't suit my personality. So I'm like more of a hard charger. And I think one of the good things about my internship, because it was so busy, is I learned I'm a great multitasker at work. Like my boss will come in and talk to me and I'm like, you, but I'm working here. Like I gotta get because I'll admit it, like I don't like to stay past 5. Like I keep banker's hours. So I get it. Like when I'm at work, like I'm doing my work and as many things as possible as I can.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I'm definitely like people will be like, can I ask you a question? I'm like, yep, but I'm going to keep writing or I'm going to keep typing. Like you can, but I'm not going to look at you and that's okay. Were you aware of like when you went into the internship, like I had a really intense internship also. It was 10 years ago and it was equine. And I went into it eyes wide open. Like I knew it was going to be physically, mentally, emotionally hard. Did you know what you were getting into or were you a little shocked?
Yeah, I think I wasn't quite prepared for it, and the caseload at Iowa compared to the caseload at a really busy
private practice. Yeah, huge difference.
It was like shell shock,
Yeah.
So I'm prepared, and even still to this day, I feel like I'm really bad at asking the environment like what their experience, like truly, what is your experience? Like does this suck?
Yeah.
I don't know. Some people candy coat it. I usually don't. Like I tell people the truth. Like, yep, it's pretty bad. So I don't think I realized it until like I was in it. But
I think people are more aware of it now. And then even like a lot of internships are kind of restructuring a little bit because they feel like maybe there are certain personalities. I think I'm one of them that you put me in the pressure cooker and I will get better. Like I do well with being, but some people are not like that. And that's what they're starting to realize is you have to there's different personalities, and you got to make sure everyone can succeed in the internship world and not just those of us that can be like put under the fire,
I think, some of that, because I am from New Jersey, like I have a very tough exterior. So like, I just like plow through it and try not to get like upset about, I try not to get, but I think there's pros and cons, to doing it. Like, I don't think like that's not how you learn either. So like you can read about how to unblock a cat 600 times in a book, but until you do it, like it's not the same.
It's especially when it's like a really fat cat with the smallest penis ever that you cannot get extruded and you're like, it's not supposed to be this hard.
Yeah, but like, you have to do it. You just have to do this stuff. And I think like you know, unfortunately, some of that is like you have to get uncomfortable. So
Yeah, I would agree. So you did the private practice rotating internship at a big specialty hospital, and then you matched into a residency. Did you form like relationships during your internship that you think helped get you the residency or networked, or was it just a place you heard of, or how did that connection happen?
I don't think so. I don't think that even like the person I worked with, he wasn't board certified. So I don't think that that really helped me. Like I made any connections. I think I thought I was going to Colorado because I had a lot of, you know, connections in Colorado. I had a phone interview where I ended up going, which is Kansas, and it went really well. And the oncologist I worked with was like, they really like you. Like when I talked to them, I think, you know, you might end up there. And I was like, okay.
You're like, Kansas, Iowa, Kansas.
Oh, but thanks, you
Where am
know.
I going? Yeah. Get
And
the map out again. Where's Kansas?
exactly. So it was more just like my presence. No, like my conversation with them, and they really liked what I wrote for my essay, whatever you had to do. I don't even know, but like,
Yeah.
I think they really liked that. So I think I got in more of my own merit. I hate to like toot my own horn, but you know, I know nobody at nobody. Kansas, like, no, I don't know anybody. You know?
Wait, so you went to, it was an academic residency. Are all the oncology residencies academic, pretty much? Okay.
There are definitely some in private practice. So I don't know at the time, I really don't think there were as many as there are now because, you know, free labor, that's,
Yes. Yes.
unfortunately, that's a lot of it because like your production off of what your residents are seeing.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember what you got paid as an oncology resident?
I think it was like 20, maybe like 24, definitely in the 20s.
Yeah. For
When
3 years? Is it a 3-year residency?
Yep, 3 years. So
Okay.
yeah, that's not a lot of money, but I know
No.
like I'm like I owe them a lot. Like they helped me with my apartment and that sort of thing through my residency, and that helped a lot. I mean, rent out there is much cheaper than on the East Coast, but yeah, if I didn't have that, you know, it would have made it. That would have made it tough. So
Did you do you have a partner now? Are you married or
yeah, I'm married.
okay.
So yeah, I wasn't married then, but you know,
Well, that's what I was kind of wondering, like when that happened, because I do know, like, you know,
yeah, yeah.
no, I'm not trying to get too personal, but no, because some people, you know, have said like, yeah, we only got paid like $20,000, $30,000,
Oh,
but
yeah.
we had a partner who made a good amount of money,
Yeah.
and that helped offset it. That's amazing. Good job, honey. Did you see that?
Oh, finger.
Kids are creepy,
Oh,
guys.
mine are sleeping. So
Do you ever wake up and they're like staring at you and you're like, how long have you been there? What happened?
I know.
Okay, so we know you don't get paid very much. You do a 3-year residency. Since you were an academic resident, was it more research based and you had to teach students and all those things, or not really?
It wasn't heavy research based because my mentors were not heavily into research. Like you have to do it if you're a tenured professor, but they weren't like research, and they were more into like clinical research versus research, which was actually a good fit for me because again, I don't enjoy basic research. I kind of boring, you know. I find that part of kind of boring. Like, yeah, it's exciting about like, oh, there's this, you know, genetic mutation and maybe we'll have a drug for it someday. But like, I just think it's boring right now, you know, until I apply it, it just clogs up my brain. So, yeah, no, it was, I forget what you asked. But yeah, I did like clinical research, and you know, it was more of a clinical based residency, I feel like, you know.
Did you interact with students and teach students and everything?
Yeah, I did not enjoy that. Yeah.
You didn't?
Yeah, they get.
Were you a mean resident, Stacey? Like,
No,
were you tough?
but I cannot stand, and I think I would be worse now. I absolutely can't stand it when people don't work hard. Hate it. And people that are entitled or, like, oh, they need their lunch break. And, I, as a resident, like, I didn't feel like it was my job to babysit students. I'm not chasing after them. If they're not there when I'm doing the procedure, I'm doing it. Because, like, I'm not going to run around the hospital, like, looking for the students. I enjoyed some of it, but some of that, like, again, I considered it more like the babysitting part. Like, I didn't enjoy.
Right.
Because I don't feel like that was my job. And I'm also very honest. Like, I still remember doing grades with my mentors. They're like the nicest women ever. They were so nice.
And you're like, what?
Yeah, I was like, we do not fit. And we were doing like grades for the students. I'm like, what do you think this student should get? I'm like, she should fail. And they're like, oh, Stacy, we can't. So why should we reinforce that she sucks? Like,
listen, you and I think we're like this. I mean, I tell students, like,
like, no, she does not know what she's doing. She's not smart. She's not getting it. Like, maybe she needs to repeat it.
I had, during my internal medicine rotation in 4th year, I had a resident and she was tough. And she told me, she was like, you would be good at small animal if you actually cared about it. Cause I was equine.
Right.
And I was shocked because I'm a hard worker but she was 100% right. Like, I did not care. I did not want to know about Cushing's disease. And I actually saw her at a conference and I was like, you were right. And she's like, well, I'm glad to hear that because I got in trouble for being so open and honest with students and like telling them what I really thought. And I was like, no, you were right. And what you said was accurate. And it made me like reassess how I was acting. And I appreciated that. So I don't think there's anything wrong. Now, students, if you're watching this, students, you should only take your lunch breaks when the resident does. And that way you won't miss anything.
Because when internship, you don't get to eat. So it's
no.
It is like, for me, I don't get a lunch break. I'm literally shoving my food in as I'm working.
Yes. But that's also part of like leaving. For me, like, I leave early, but I also eat really fast and I don't take a long lunch break. Now, some people might need their lunch break, but then they leave at 6. I would rather have my food, and get home.
Yeah. And some students I loved, like, some of them I loved. I would say, like, as a general experience, like, I didn't, and I like to talk. So I like teaching in that way. I also didn't, like, some of it, some of it I liked, and some of it I didn't when it came.
But this is an important thing because this was one of the most common set of questions I had. And this was my burning question for you is, to me, when I think of oncology, and I had a dog with osteosarcoma, so I dealt with oncology a lot. I had Dr. Wright at A&M, who's amazing, that helped me with my dog. I would consider it a depressing specialty, okay? And that was the word that people used with me too. Like, isn't it depressing? They want to know. And how do you deal with terminally ill patients? I mean, you see a lot more patients that are not going to be there very long. So you don't seem depressed. So walk me through that. Like, do you ever feel that?
Yes. Cause like oncology seems to be very sick, where like sometimes things are going great and other times like I'll have like 4 patients die in a week.
Mm-hmm.
This is terrible. Like, I feel like crap, but for the most part, I don't feel that way. And I always say, like, yeah, my patients are going to die the soonest, but they actually are like the seemingly healthiest when they walk in. Like, they're happy. They don't look sick. Like, most of them, like, they feel pretty good.
Yeah.
And so I don't really find it that depressing for the most part. I think that I look at it as like anything that we can do is only going to like buy them
Time.
more time than they maybe wouldn't have had otherwise. So I don't know. Like some days I do think it's depressing. Most of the time, I think the thing that makes it like not depressing is like, and this is a double-edged sword, but like the relationships, you know, like that's the part that I really appreciate and foster. And, you know, I try to make it a positive experience. So yeah, I don't, you know, I don't think I can see how people would think that because you're like, everybody, like everything is, but I also like it's everybody dies. And I'm obviously I'm accepting that, but like I think like that's a crucial point in their life, especially because like the owners know, like, or I tell them like this is it, like this is gonna take that. So I think that time in their life is like appreciated so much more, and that, you know, valued, and like the bucket list stuff. Like I just think that that makes it less, you know. And again, when they come in, I tell you, like most of my patients feel great, you know. So that's not depressing. That's probably depressing, like when not doing well, you know. So.
I think it has to take like a special person to be able to say, you know, even the little bit of extra time I can give them is worth it, right? And like the
quality. Like I am a huge like I will not do something. I'm like, listen, or I'll really try to talk people out of it. Like this is gonna be bad. Like I really would not recommend. You can do this XYZ, but like it's gonna make them feel like garbage. Like quality of time from the quantity part of it, you know. So
well, important. And do you find that most of your patients have already been semi-diagnosed in some way, and the owners are coming to you because they want more information or they want to do more for their pets? So the owners that are coming to you a majority of the time are extremely invested and and understand that what they're kind of getting into. So I guess I could see that you're dealing with people that love their pets so much and you know care, and so that would make it maybe a little easier.
Yeah, I think it's probably harder in the having to like break the news, but I do feel like some people send them to me because they maybe don't tell them how bad.
Yeah.
And I'm, you know, I just like lay it out there, you know. I think, and I always say like you have to have a reasonable expectation here for like what we're gonna go through emotionally, physically, financially, like all that, and what we get for that, you know. I don't know.
I may have done that once or twice. Like had an owner that I'm like, they're just not getting it. And even though I don't think there's many options, they need to hear it again. And so I'm like, it's, you know, $160 to go do a consult. And I think you should go and hear what the options are. And then the oncologist tells them basically the same thing, but then it's kind of like it finally soaks in, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, that's fine. Or they'll be like, do you really think it's cancer? Can we check it again? And I'm like, okay, you know, we can check it again, but I feel pretty confident, like 95% in that happens a lot with like primary lung tumors. Like, are you sure it's cancer? I'm like, well, I mean, we almost never see large granulomas like this in the chest. Like, I think it's very rare, you know. Maybe, but again, we have to be realistic about what this probably is, you know.
Right. So where do you practice now? And what does your schedule and everything look like?
Yeah. So I practice in PA. I actually practice out a very small private practice out in Lancaster, PA, which seems weird, but there's actually a lot of people out there. I only work 4 days a week right now.
You said 4 days?
I only work 3.
3. Okay.
In all my other jobs, I worked 4 days a week. I start at 9. I leave by 5. Like I try to be pretty strict about that, you know, getting home. I have 2 kids, younger kids. And I value, like, I need that personal, like, it is a draining specialty. So like when I get home, I don't think my family, like my husband, even, like, I don't think he gets it sometimes. Like sometimes I just have nothing left in the tank to deal with them emotionally and mentally because I've kind of used it up at work. So I really like to have like boundaries with like when I'm working and when I'm leaving. And most of my clients do have my email, which is supposed to be for like emergencies. That's never
Right.
for, but I don't want them to ever feel like they're hung out to dry. Something really bad is happening and they connect, you know. So I'm usually like answering emails when I'm not at, but yeah, it's pretty pushy, you know. I think on the flip side, like it's not, to be honest, like it's compared to other specialties, it's not the most lucrative specialty, but
Okay.
and I don't think those are things that you think about going into a residency, like what's my schedule going to be? Because you're like young and you're excited and you're green, but like, what's your schedule going to be like? What are your opportunities going to be for working? So is it going to be private practice? Is it going to be academics? Can you do mobile? You know, I never thought about that. Any stuff.
I think those things are huge. And I think you and I are very similar where at least early in my career, I worked ridiculous hours and I like hustled. And then I had kids and I greatly changed a lot of that. And it was hard for me because I am like a worker. But I found I couldn't do it as hardcore as I was, like work and be a mom. And so I had to like change and transition things a little bit. But I think those are things to think about for sure. And most of the specialties seem to work less days and really not even be available on the weekends depending on what you do. So I do think that's very pro parenting, but like you said, there is a lot that's draining from dealing with some of those clients, especially that are coming to see specialists. So
Yeah, I mean, I think too, I learned not early on here, but I really learned about trying to find the work life. So that's why I try to be about like waiting for people till whatever 7 o'clock at night to go over things. Like I just won't do it because I always feel like I need to preserve myself so that I can spread that out for everybody else. And I just can't do that stuff. Like I need to try to stay like fresh and available. And the way to do that is like I have to have cutoffs, you know. And I don't feel bad about that. I think about like human medicine, and I think that, you know, that's one area where in veterinary, like we should really be structuring it more like human medicine. I don't, you know, like I don't just get to call my doctor and come in at 10 o'clock. It's like, no. Or
no.
half an hour late. It's like,
Yeah.
no.
No.
It just doesn't work that way. And I don't feel bad about like not seeing appointments on the weekends. My doctor doesn't see on Saturday, so why should I have to work on Saturday? You know, I don't.
Well, I mean, even human medicine, like I know people that have gotten cancer diagnosis and then they're waiting 3 months to go see a specialist. Yeah. Like
it's a double-edged sword. It's like, it's going to take 2 days to get those tests done and the results back. I'm like, 2 days?
Yeah.
That's compared to like human medicine. You might have cancer and then you have to wait like a week or two to get an ultrasound and then you have to come back for a biopsy and like we get it done, you know.
Yes. Yes. It's very interesting to me, and I've called owners on it, you know, when they're like, you know, why this or why that, and I'm like, you can't get into your doctor same day, you know, like you don't even talk to your doctor, you talk to nurses only. Like I'm calling you, I'm doing the best I can, but I have to pick my kids up from school and I can't wait around and be here at 3 o'clock. I have to leave at 2:30, you know, and I think that that's okay to say, and I think that also helps you sustain your career longer when you start to put those boundaries in place.
Yeah, I mean, and I do I tend to like fit people in that need to come in, and every once in a while I'd be like, I just cannot make that work today. Like I can't find a space in my schedule where that's gonna work. But I try really hard to do that. But And I also don't feel like I should have to explain myself. Like, it is what it is. I have my own reasons, whatever they may be. And like, that's it. My doctor doesn't explain to me. So I don't,
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to do that, you know? And I'm okay with that. Like, self-preservation.
Yeah. No, I think that that's, again, part of being successful, but also still like loving what you do and setting those boundaries is so,
Yeah.
so important. Does your practice right now have like interns or residents? Do you deal with any of that or no?
No, I have in the past, but at my current practice, it's really small. So, but I have like throughout my career. I've even worked at practices that have had oncology ones, a couple of those. I have worked for some people too, like doing training residents, you know, and I think like my contributions are more people than they are like studying and researching and so I haven't been doing that in recent years. Like I haven't really had anybody, you know, where I've had to do that.
Do you think because it's more competitive, and I think like Dr. Shiloh asked on here, do you think COVID is going to make it even more competitive for interns and internships? Because a lot of people are saying that students are so nervous about going into clinical practice that more students are applying for internships than ever before, because they're not getting hands-on, you know, with school and externships with COVID. So do you think that you are more competitive in oncology if you're doing research, if you're networking? Like, is there anything you can think of that would give people a leg
Yeah.
up if they're wanting to go that route?
I mean, I think like if you can get published, but that's hard. Like nobody knows how to do that without a paper. Even me, like if I had to write a paper now, and I don't want to, that's it. I have no desire to sit down and write a paper.
Right.
I don't know how to do it. So you need someone to like guide you. You need a statistician. You know? So like that's a good thing. I think like for me, like some people might see, you know, research as appealing. I think that would depend on direction you want to take your career and like want to do your residency, because some programs are more research based, and that's
Yeah.
for me. Like it's more about, you know, and connections, you know, because it's not a very like it's a big community, but like in my generation of oncologists, like I know pretty much
Everyone.
you know somebody who knows somebody. Like it is a very small world. So if I had somebody that I liked, like I would get on the phone and be like, you should, you know, put them like at the very top of your list to match, you know. So I think that plays a huge part of it. That may not be fair, but that's
No, I think that's the world though. And I always tell students all the time, like you need to be making connections and reaching out to people, because if someone makes a phone call and they say like, I know this person, they're
yeah,
great to work with, they're a hard worker, that goes so much further than just what you put on your application. Like it really can make a huge difference. So networking, I think for specialties is a pretty big deal. But
yeah. I mean, and I think that you have to work hard. Like if you do like a shoddy job as an intern, like people aren't going to strongly recommend you. I have had people call me about interns, you know, like when I had at the practice I was at, when we had an oncology intern, I knew the doctor that had called me, and he's like, listen, if you need a body, like that's your person. If you want somebody who's actually like going to get the job done, then I would look for somebody else. Like that's huge.
huge, huge. Yeah.
That's off the list.
Yeah.
So you also have to like, you know, deserve it. You know, you have to work hard and likable. If you have like personal stuff going on, you really need to like leave it out. You have to leave it out of work, you know, because some people don't, and I think it's like a deterrent. You know, really try to keep your eye on the prize.
Yeah, it's very I think the last year has been trying for everyone, and everyone has kind of dealt with it in different ways in veterinary medicine. And I've honestly been shocked and surprised by just even my own team members, like who has really adapted and stepped up and who has really struggled, because some people have really struggled. And I, even myself, I'm not like an anxious, stressed out person, but I
Yeah.
do think the last year has like tested that a lot.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just a very, very strange time we're living in veterinary medicine. We've like gone nonstop through it all, and
Yeah.
we're just surviving, you know?
Yeah, and like, I mean, even me, like, I was like, when it first started, I'm like, should I quit my job? Should I not work? Like, and I've never, like, now through all of this, like, I haven't ever not worked. Not as busy as like general practices and ERs, and like, I feel bad for those people, you know? Like, I know they're working really hard. But yeah, it just adds this whole nother layer of complexity. And I think for my specialty, it's actually been really hard because I take a lot from that face to face. Like, I try to read body language, and I can't. Like, there's none of that. I also think like it's so touchy feely. Like, some of these people have never even met me.
Right.
They're trusting me, and like they've never even met me. They don't, you know. So I think that's really like, and there's some people I've treated their pet and they died all in this period of time. I've never actually met,
That's
you know.
crazy. Do you do like telemedicine or FaceTime people or do any sort of face to face? That's
No,
it?
through phone. I actually would love like video conferencing, but we're just not really set up like that. So yeah, just on the phone. So
We bought like 2 iPads and 2 iPhones and just set up like an iCloud account with our practice, and we just FaceTime people, and it does seem to really help.
yeah, I mean, I think that would be better because, again, especially for like what I do, I feel like it's so like they have
Ugh,
to trust you, you know? So
yeah. Yeah. This conversation is hard for me a little bit because it brings me back to like my osteosarcoma dog, and going through everything and dealing with it and knowing like we weren't gonna fix her and heal her. We were just buying time. And I I I do think your job is hard, and emotionally especially. So I mean, just what you guys know, like I'll diagnose a dog with cancer and then I'll be like, I don't know what all the options are. Like, I need to send you to oncology because who knows what the most recent research is, who knows what the recommendations are now, and so I think your specialty is very difficult
yeah,
in
I
many ways.
get that like information. I consider the consult like this, education, not just about the cancer, but about like how many visits do you think it's going to be? What's it going to cost? Like, how long
Mm-hmm.
it's take? Because like they need to know that. Again, I really like to make sure they know like what to expect. So yeah, it's, I use it, and some people decide not to treat, and that's fine, especially if like we can treat this, but like there's nothing that we know that works.
Yeah.
No standard of care. It's going to cost X thousands of dollars. Um, and I feel like at this point I've seen so much that it's not going to work. So I'll tell them like, like that with a metastatic pancreatic tumor. It's like, listen, with ascites, you're like,
Yeah.
okay, like we can try to treat this, but like it's not going to work, Like, it's too far gone. And I've just recently, like in all these years, I've just recently started to incorporate the word hospice into my vocabulary. It's like,
Right.
because people understand that,
Yeah.
And I don't know why I've never talked about it before. It's like, it's not doing nothing. It's just like, they're
Yeah.
doing this. So let's just do what we can in this period of time to like manage them with dignity and make them pain free and feel as good as they can. And, that's okay.
Yeah.
So,
I do think a lot of people, like I have a lot of pet owners that they've had an experience with cancer with them or a family member or somebody else, and you start talking about radiology and chemo and people like really start, ugh, and I do usually say like, it seems like pets tolerate chemo better than people do, especially certain ones, but that's something you can like talk to oncology about. But I try to maybe give them a little more hope, but people's experiences, a lot of times I'll say, you know, do you know anyone that's gone through treatment? Because their experiences will really dictate kind of how much they want to do or not do. And
I
like
see
that's
it's from Kansas on there. Shannon. Oh my God, that's crazy. I don't know if you can see it. They just
I
like
can. Yeah.
memories. That was like one of my best cases and my best experiences of my career. And that was almost 15 years ago? Like crazy 15 years. Like I've known some of these people for that long. And I'm still like I still know some of my like I like to maintain relationships with them. So oh man.
Well, you should. Do you want to? We have just a couple minutes left. Do you want to tell us about Miles or?
Yeah, that's like one of the best. I feel like it's one of the best like stories of my career, and it like taught me so much. So I saw their dog, who I hope they don't mind that I'm talking about it, but I don't think they would. He had lymphoma, and we treated, and they were a great client. Aware, you know, some people I can't always trust their like judgment or interpretation of like what's going on with their pet, but like, and they were big runners. So I think the day that he came out, one of the days he came out of remission, he had run like 13 miles or
Oh my
something.
gosh, that's crazy.
They were like lymph nodes, and I knew that they probably could. And I actually, when it was his time, like went to their house and euthanized him, and I was like wrecked. And I think since then I've learned how to compartmentalize a little bit better, but I was like distraught. But we like through this whole thing, they were like so supportive of me. The husband, Dan, was again a big runner, and he was like, I think that you should run to help like with stress. And him and the running club gave me like a gift certificate so that
that's so nice.
Yeah, they gave me a gift certificate. And you know, when their dog passed, we still spent a lot of time together. We went out to dinner. They helped support financially through my residency, which was like a crucial period of time in my life. My had like a massive stroke. My kind of like deal with that, and they like took me under their wing, took care of me, and supported me like emotionally, financially. My look at that, they still have my.
Oh, I love that. Love that.
And my residency was unique. Like for my third year, one of my mentors ended in Wisconsin, so I went with her for my third year. And I still remember being at the dinner. How are you going to get there? And I'm like, I'm from Jersey. I'm going to just like tow my car. And he was like, have you ever done that before?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'll go with you. I'll drive you. I'll drive your car. I'll help move all your stuff. And then I'll go back. I was like, what? Who does that? I'm not that nice, you know?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
like they did, you know? And it was just like so great. Like the best people, some of the best people of my life, like I met in Kansas and Iowa. So it was just a great experience, you know?
And I feel like cases like that are what, and people like that are what help us like keep going.
Remember.
Yeah.
And I still have patients like that and clients like that. I think I sent somebody a message a couple weeks ago and I'm like, no, like you're like family to us. Like if you ever need anything, like they're so great, you know? I just really appreciate that part of it. You know, I just love that part of it. Like that's what makes it worth it. So, cause that like lives on still.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's like a positive memory as opposed to like when you're in the middle of it. I say it's like you're in the middle of it. It's like, oh, so stressful. And but then when it's like you're you can like appreciate it.
Yeah.
But it's like when you're in the middle of it, it's so hard. But once you get past it, like it's just they're lasting like really good memories. So, you know, and I think some of my clients, they're good too, you know.
I have those people and I keep, you know, the cards and the things. And
Oh yeah. I have every single one that anyone has ever given me in like you know, and I still remember most of them. Some of them maybe, but most of them I do. If I've treated them for like a time, like I remember them, you know. And some people think about like I wonder how they're doing or like some people that have had cancer themselves or whatever, like you kind of wonder how they're doing. And yeah, I miss them when their pets die. I'm like, oh, can you come back and visit? Like,
Yeah. Can we have a happy visit? Like
yeah.
after all the sadness? I know. I
And
know.
get lots of lunch. It's like, I miss seeing you. Can we just
Yeah.
go? And, you know, I love that part of it.
Well, number one, I appreciate you just sharing everything and sharing your experience, because this is one of those specialties that I have a hard time like wrapping my mind around and understand. Yeah. Well, and just different personalities, but when you explain it, I can see, because I love my clients. Like I love my patients, but I love my clients too. And it sounds like oncology is one of those where you love the medicine, but you also really just love the people that you're helping, you know, and their pets.
And I think if it's almost more like the second nature, like the learning is interact with people. And, you know, I feel like I'm able to do that. And again, like that's what like that imprint on your heart is like pets and the experience and the relationship again, because I think it is such a vulnerable time that like it's very memorable, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it worth it. So
Well, you've changed my perspective on oncology being depressing. So I think that's good. And do you guys take externs at all, or do you take students who are interested in? Okay.
Certainly do. So yes, if anybody wanted to come visit, they can. So
What is the best way to contact you if they do? Like contact your clinic, contact you on Instagram?
yeah, either way, whatever, however they can find me is fine. So
Okay.
yeah, that's fine.
And I appreciate you reaching out to me and being willing to come on and do this. I know that we were like, I think it's planned, but is it? I don't know what's going on in our lives. So
Trying to like learn some of this social media. I'm starting a virtual consulting business for oncology. So I'm like, okay, how do I link my business Instagram? I was like, dude, I feel like my mom. Like,
yeah.
When you were like, just join the live link, I'm like, God.
Oh, no. No, that was me. That was me like a year ago when I got on like and started doing more stuff. I was like, I watched YouTube videos. I was like reading up on stuff, because it's a lot. And when you start to do more and more and interact more, it adds up very quickly. So
Crazy. Yeah.
well, once you get your telemedicine stuff going or the virtual visits, let me know, because I would love to share that too. And then if anyone has questions, you can definitely reach out to her and follow up if you want to learn more about oncology. So
Definitely. Thank you.
yeah, thank you for coming on. We'll see you later. Bye. Okay, guys, so that was oncology. And if you did not catch all the series that I've done so far, we've also talked to a radiologist, a neurologist, a dermatologist. I'm still looking for maybe an emergency critical care specialist, internal medicine specialist, ophthalmology. I have a couple extra neurologists, dermatologists that are in the works, and I'm going to have a dental specialist on here, because I think dentistry is another cool one. I also talked to Dr. Kate, who is a pathologist. So lots of specialties out there. I'm trying to hit them all slowly on these Sundays, but I appreciate you watching and being a part of it with me. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments, and definitely reach out to Dr. Stacy if you want to connect more about oncology. Thanks so much and have a wonderful night. Bye, guys.